I'm going to try to make a bubbling cauldron, and this particular TikTok had 9.6 million views and over 750,000 likes, and it doesn't look too tricky. So we need a cauldron. This one is a very small cauldron, so hopefully less effort on my behalf. Some iridescent baubles. I have got 3 more lots like this, some fairy lights and some glue. I'm using my glue gun, which is currently heating up at the moment. All I need to do basically is pop these in with the lights, glue them in, and then have them kind of tumbling out the side. Because I have so many baubles, I think I'm just going to fill this whole thing up with baubles. In the TikTok, they use a bowl and some paper to kind of stuff the cauldron, but this one's quite small, so I think I'm just going to shove some baubles in and then just see what happens. So far, I've used 2 packets of baubles, and it basically fills the top. So hopefully one more will fill the top a little bit better, and then I can start to come out to the side. I'm going to keep all of these bits because they just clip back into place. So other than the ones I'm gluing, which is just going to be like the surface level ones, I can reuse these whenever I want to, so I don't feel very wasteful. My lights now work, and I'm just trying to figure out if I put, or where I put this, because if I put it in there, I'm going to need to get access to the batteries, whereas if I just kind of put it out to the side or maybe run a hole underneath, I think that's probably what I'm going to have to do. I might put the batteries underneath, run the lights inside, meaning that I'm going to have to put little legs on the bottom here. So I think I need to go and get my drill. Actually, no. I don't want to say I'm a genius, but I'm going to say I'm a genius. I have a second cauldron, which for some unknown reason has a hole in the bottom, despite the fact that I bought these at the same time from the same place. This one has a hole in the bottom. So hopefully this tiny bit fits through. Oh, this is going to be so good if this works. Okay, less of an issue, less drilling, but still some fixing. This isn't as quick as I thought it would be, but I think it's going to be worth it. So let's have a little pause, glue this bit on the bottom, glue the legs on the bottom, flip it over, and then finally we can get to the baubles. Okay, new plan. So the problem with that was that because the bottom of the cauldron isn't that wide, the battery box was too wide for it. So even if I put it on securely with legs, it wouldn't have worked unless I kind of made the legs like stilt legs, which wouldn't have looked very good. So I'm going to go back to plan A, and I'm going to get the battery box back in the middle. So I'm going to unthread everything, which is going to take an age, but that's okay. And then I'm going to try to see if I can get the battery box inside with the baubles, but I need to leave myself enough room to be able to get the baubles out. So I think only some of them are going to be glued on, which might be an issue, but hopefully it'll be fine. So current plan is to put all of the baubles back in with the light, and then I'm going to do a kind of superficial lid with the new set of baubles that I'm going to glue on the top, so I can remove effectively the lid so I can get to the battery pack if I need to. So these ones, imagine this was the one and this was the lid. Every bauble that went on top would kind of form the lid, and I would glue the lid on top so I can just lift the lid up and take it out. So that is plan, what we on, plan D, plan E, something like that. So I'm going to put the baubles back in basically and let everything dangle. Yeah, and then glue. Okay, so this is currently my top. I'm just going to make sure that, perfect, I can still use the remote to turn everything on. So this to me is good. So I'm now going to start to glue on top, and I'm not going to glue to any of these ones. I'm just going to glue each new one to itself. So let's get the new set of baubles. So the challenge here is to remember which ones make up my top layer, because I need to make sure they don't go over onto the next lot. I just want to make sure I've got enough here by the wire so that I can cover it over. So I think the next lot of baubles are going to start to come over the edge there. So I'm going to try not to glue onto the actual wire here, so the wire can still get through or get passed through. So I'm going to bring that down here. So I think this is looking pretty cool right now. I've still made it so that it's a lid that detaches so that I can use the baubles in the future if I want to, but also it is accessible to the battery, and I think I'll probably have it like this way round there, so it looks quite cool. So I think I'm just going to put a couple more bits at the top, maybe one more bit here because I want to hold or hide the wires. And then I think I'm almost done. This is what's left of 4 sort of boxes worth. I think there's 72 baubles in there at the moment. So I'm just going to do a couple more at the top, a couple more here to hide these bits. I might leave these bits of glue because they kind of look like cobwebby. So it's looking so good. I'm absolutely ecstatic with how this has turned out. Look how cool this is. I've made it so that the whole lid comes off so that I can get to the batteries underneath, but I can also just use the remote to change the colours and turn it on and off. And the real test is going to be in a moment when I turn off the lights, but I think this angle where you can kind of see it like bubbling over the top is really, really, really cool. I don't think I need any more bubbles down here. I think it'd be too much if I add some more on, but let me know, what do you think? Do you think it needs more bubbles or do you think it's quite cool? So I think that's the angle that I want, but let's see it in the dark. Ooh. I think I'm the most excited about making this one. So this TikTok has over 1.5 million views and 425,000 likes. And we are going to be making like a little ghost person. So for this one, you need a pool noodle, you need a little Halloween-y type bucket, you need some small boots and some small leggings or trousers, you need a little S hook. We're going to use some black felt for the eyes of the ghost and then some white sheeting for the actual ghost itself. We might need some string, but we'll see if we need some string when we get to it. So basically, I'm going to put the pool noodle in the leggings and in the trousers, and then I'm going to put the sheet on top, and that's kind of it. It sounds simple, it's just ingenious. Right, undo the legs so they're next to each other, pop up the trousers. Oh, I've chosen very long trousers, but that's okay. No one needs to know how long these are. So, next we're going to put the leggings in the boots. I've gone for zip up boots because I thought that would be a bit easier to keep the actual leggings in place. Or not the leggings, the pool noodle in place. And I just need to make sure, yes, that you're not going to be able to see the pool noodle. Okay, let's do the other one. Little zip. I don't really mind that the shoes don't do up. That is fine with me. So it's got a little bit of attitude. Let's creep into the side a little bit. Basically, you need to get these to stand up. So either I put something heavy in the shoes or I try to manipulate the pool noodle a little bit. Let's get you out of the way. So we have the shoes in, we have the leggings on, we have the pool noodle there. It's just a little bit precarious here. Oh, it almost fell over, but I'm hoping that having the bucket around here will balance it out. So next I'm just going to drape the sheet over the top and see what we are working with. There we go. Right. So that's got like a double fold in the middle now. So let's see if that goes over the top any better. Okay. So it does cover the red a bit better. I mean, no one's going to think this is real though, right? There we go, that's better. It looks a bit rubbish at the top. Maybe like that. I paused for a moment because I was getting a bit stressed. So what I realised was that I could just fold it over because no one's going to see the back. So the back is completely open. So if I've just folded this over and I can drape it over the top like this, the idea is that it's going to be against the wall anyway for where I want to put it, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that's looking creepy already, so I feel like we're doing well. So next, I'm going to cut out the felt eyes and I'm just going to pop them in place, and I just need to get my bucket attached. So I'm using leggings, so either I'm going to hook the command hook on the leggings like so. Where's my gap gone? Like that, and then just hook the basket on. But if that doesn't work, then I'm going to use some string. So let's do the bucket first, actually, and just see how that looks. So I've got a little S hook here, get my bucket here, hang it on there. Oh yes, so that now looks like it's being held up. That looks so cool. So all we need now is eyes. So if you saw my cricket video with a cheesecloth ghost, you will see that I tried to cut some felt eyes with my Cricut and it did not work. You can see the outlines there, but never fear. We are going to use the eyes again, and I might actually just use the outline there. Eyes. Let's do this. So this might be a bit ridiculous, but I'm going to try to use some sellotape and just round it back on itself because I don't want to use my cloth as a one-time ghost. So I'm going to see if I can attach this to the back, because then I haven't wasted my fabric. If not, I will glue it down with super glue, but let's find out. So another eyeball. Yes, okay, wonderful. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, that looks so good. I think I might just lift that up a little bit so you can see the legs a little bit more. Okay, so we have feet. And it goes up. And little eyes. So here we have. I'm so happy with this one. Here's my little ghost buddy. I think it looks so cool, so realistic and so freaky, especially with the boots. I pulled it away from the wall so it's standing up by itself and it's holding its own bucket which moves, and oh, so cool. So this next one looks relatively simple but might take a little bit of time. This one has 1.1 million views and over 6,000 saves. So over 6,000 people want to make this. All you need is some pool noodles, a glue gun, some black spray paint, some sort of foam base, some candles, and hopefully a little bit of time. We are going to make an elaborate candle setting. First of all, I need to cut up the pool noodles and arrange them on the matting using the glue gun, and then when everything is set I'm going to spray paint, and that's kind of almost it. So this next one's going to be this big. I'm going to cut them at slight angles. Now I need to make sure that everything has a flat base and is angled at the top, so that's where I can put my candle. And then when I've angled everything at the top, I just need to make a hole. So I'm just going to cut in with the scissors, and this hole is basically enough for my candle to sit in. So I'm just lightly chopping. The candle can be really, really wonky, so the candle doesn't have to sit flush. I like the idea that the candles are kind of poking out forwards. So that's my hole. Might need to be a little bit bigger. Oh, no, maybe not. Can I squeeze it in? That is perfect. And now I just need to repeat that for all of the rest of them. I will take out the candles for now though, because I want to make sure that I can spray paint everything inside and then just keep this for the top bit. So I've now cut them all down, so they have a flat bottom and then they have a slanty top and then space for the candle to go as well. So I'm just going to mark out on the sheet where each of them is going to go, and then I'm going to glue them down to the sheet and then down to each other. And the only question I have is that these arrived all curled up when they came, and despite me trying to flatten them out, they are still very curved. So I don't know if that's going to make them look more spooky or just stupid. So let me get gluing and I will let you know. And then maybe one there or one there. And this one also as a question mark. So the problem is the glue gun is so hot that it's melting the bottom of the pool noodle down here. So I think this is looking pretty cool so far. What's amazing is how much the glue gun has disintegrated the foam. I don't know if you can see it in there. It's just kind of made a massive hole. So I try to just get it all down as quickly as I can. It's pretty secure. Like, I don't think any of it's going anywhere. Just a word of warning, if you do use a glue gun, it is going to disintegrate them quick. So I would probably put the glue on the foam if you can, and then just work as quick as you can. So the next step is to go outside and then spray paint all of this black. I don't know if it needs to dry because this kind of soaks it all in. And then I'm going to put my candles in probably tomorrow, maybe later tonight. We'll see how quickly it dries. I have just finished spray painting and I think it looks really cool. I'm glad I used the yellow one rather than the blue, because I think the yellow shines through on some of the bits where I haven't gone as dark or as full coverage, and it's going to make it look like the flames are coming through a little bit more, which is really cool. I'm going to leave it out there to dry. I don't dare touch it for a while. And then when I know it's dry, I'm going to put the candles in and then I'm going to set the scene and make it look really spooky. So we are lit by candlelight right now. I think this just looks so cool. I'm so happy with it. This is a much smaller version of the one that is on TikTok, but I'm happy with this small version. It fits in my house, it makes me happy, and it just looks really cool. This next TikTok has over 2.6 million views and 107,000 likes, and all you need is some wool. We are going to make a giant spider's web, and we're going to do it on the wall behind me. In the video, they kind of pin it into the wall, but I'm just going to tie it to the truss here because then it's going to stay up a lot easier. The comments said it took them 15 minutes, so I'm going to get going and I'm going to do a time lapse and see how long it actually takes me. You won't obviously have to watch for 15 minutes because that would be boring, but let's give it a go. So first things first, I need to go across and then across the middle. So I've got 6 strings coming through. So I've got my ladder out, and then I'm going to put the ladder away and basically just thread everything through. It should be, hopefully, as easy as that. So I'm going to go relatively high to start with. So this just needs to be tight down the bottom. So now I'm going to do the opposite. So if I start by the bottom one first, so that should be this equivalent, I think. So my understanding is now that all I need to do is get the thread and kind of put it on different bits going around. So we'll see if that actually works. Okay, so I've done the first bit. It obviously looks rubbish because I haven't tightened it anywhere. So I don't know whether I need to tie it on each little bit, like here. I think I probably do. So I'm gonna just go again. Okay, first part, what do we think? I'm gonna say it's okay. I'm gonna tie the bits in the middle together because I feel like they need to be tight here. There we go, so all I'm doing is just getting my thread, I'm going up and over and tying it to itself, but I'm trying to make sure that it's not quite exactly symmetrical, so that one can go out a little bit, this one can come in a little bit. And then tie on there, and I will obviously chop all these bits off when the time comes. So I'm going to get an even longer piece of thread this time, or yarn, because now I'm getting on the wider bits, it just takes a little bit more to kind of get through. So I'm just going to start where I left off, which was over here. I think I just need to join in this bit somehow because this bit doesn't look as good as I would like it to. So I think in a second I'm going to take a step back because when you're this close, it's hard to tell if it's actually looking good or whether it's looking a bit meh. So I've got this last bit to finish for this bit here. So I do have a giant spider that can go in this web, but it's up in my Halloween box, which I don't have time to get down right this second, but there will be a big spider. Okay, so last bit done. Right, let me clear up these bits so it doesn't ruin your aesthetic. Web is done. What do you think? It looks better in real life than it does on the video. So I think some of these need to just be like pulled out a little bit, maybe pulled in a little bit. Let me just move back so you can see. And there's a little, well, there will be a giant spider in it as well. So there we go. What do we think? Worth the effort? Not worth the effort? 20 minutes. It's better in person. So this TikTok has got over 11.4 million views and 580,000 likes. And theoretically, all you need is a cauldron and a diffuser, but I do think I'm gonna need my fairy lights as well because I don't quite think the diffuser is gonna be enough to make it special. I think all I have to do is put this in here and we're good to go. Quickest decoration ever. So step one is knowing whether this diffuser is actually going to fit in the cauldron or not. But so far, I feel like, oh, just about fits. Okay. So I have 2 cauldrons from the exact same place, bought on the exact same day. This one has a hole in the bottom. This one does not have a hole in the bottom. So I'm using obviously the one with a hole in the bottom. I think I'm gonna have to cut some foam out and put them on the bottom for little kind of legs so the wire can hang around in there, but I'll do that in a second. Bad news is the wire doesn't fit in the hole, so either I make this hole bigger or I make a hole on the side. So I'm gonna go get the drill. Luckily, the drill is currently charging next to me there, so I'm gonna go get that and then hopefully figure it out. It is a brand new day, so we're going to start again here with the cauldron, and I'm going to drill a hole in the side so that this wire can fit out. I'm going to do it quite low because there's no kind of space on the bottom. If I use that hole, make it bigger, there's no space for me to actually feed the wire through on the side here. So we're going to drill a hole on the side, then basically I'm just going to put this in there and see if it looks rubbish, because it might look a bit rubbish. So I've managed to drill my hole and I've popped the wire through. So now I'm just going to attach everything. For now, I'm just going to plug this into my laptop just to see that it works. Okie dokie, so this is the moment of truth. Let's get the old laptop. Right, I just realised I don't know how I actually turn this on. So this could be a bit of a fool's errand. Okay, it's working. It is working. Ooh! Right, let me hide my wire. Let's pretend my laptop's not here. Okay. Okay. I mean, can you see the smoke? It's not wowy. It's also not wowy. Let me turn some lights off and see if that makes a difference. Lights. Oh, does that look better? Not really. Okay, I'm going to try to put some fairy lights in and then see if I can put it against a black background and see if that makes it look any better, because it's coming out, it's just not, you just can't see it. Okay, so I've got a makeshift black background. I've got my fairy lights, which I'll make it a little bit better in a second. Just, don't know. Oh, that's better. Okay, that is better. What do we think? Better? Okay, I think that might be cooler. Right, let's open these. Okay, so that blue kind of matches what's going on the inside. What do we think? No, it still looks a bit rubbish. Ooh, okay. What do we think? Okay, that's looking tons better. For something that was that easy to make, I'm actually pretty impressed. It wasn't as spectacular as I thought it was going to be immediately, but you know what? With a little bit of theatrics, it actually looks pretty good. I'm gonna say 10 out of 10, exactly what I thought it was going to be. I think it's pretty cool.